It was supposed to be a simple bust. Two female DEA agents, tough, smart, respected, went deep into the Arizona desert, chasing a cartel lead. They radioed in one last time. Then, nothing. No bodies, no weapons, no signs of a struggle. They were just gone. For 8 years, people searched. The FBI, local cops, their families. Everyone had a theory, a kidnapping, a secret mission, even betrayal. But no one had proof. No one had answers. Then one summer morning, a group of miners found something strange deep inside an abandoned cave system. Something so terrifying, they ran out and refused to go back. What was in that cave? And what really happened to those 2 agents? This is the story that was never supposed to come out. Lauren Vega and Maria Torres weren't just good agents. They were the best. Both had served with the DEA for over 10 years. Lauren was known for staying calm, even during raids. Maria was sharp, fast, and brave. People called them the twins, even though they weren't related. They trusted each other more than anyone else. 1 year before they disappeared, they led a major raid in Texas, a drug lab hidden behind a fake bakery. Armed guards, booby traps, and a lot of danger. Most agents would wait for backup. But Lauren and Maria went in first, with bulletproof vests and a plan. They cleared the building in minutes. They found 2 hostages tied up in the back room. And they arrested 4 cartel members without firing a single shot. That case made headlines. But for the people who worked with them, it wasn't a surprise. They were smart, one agent said later. Always one step ahead. They didn't panic. They didn't freeze. They could handle anything. At least, that's what we thought. In early 2017, Lauren and Maria were called into a quiet office at DEA headquarters in Arizona. Their boss, Special Agent Klein, closed the door. He said a cartel informant had come forward, someone with high-level knowledge. This man claimed there was a brand-new drug route being built by the Estrella cartel. A hidden path running under the desert, just a few miles from the border. The meet location? A dead mining town called Santa Roja. It had been abandoned for decades. No phone service. No people. No backup close by. Klein didn't like it. He called the tip too clean. No threats. No warnings. Just coordinates and a time. But the intel matched other reports. And Lauren and Maria had handled worse. They agreed to go undercover. 1 SUV, 1 sat phone. In and out by nightfall. Lauren smiled and said, "We'll be back before you miss us." No one smiled back. That morning, Lauren and Maria geared up for the mission. No uniforms, no visible weapons. Just jeans, jackets, and 1 small pistol each, hidden in the side of the SUV. The satellite phone was tested. Their GPS was cleared. And updated. They logged the route, printed the map, and left a voice memo in the operations room, heading to Santa Roja, ET, 3 hours. We'll check in by 7 p.m. At 12:36 p.m., the radio operator marked the time as they drove past the final checkpoint. Lauren drove. Maria sat passenger, checking the GPS. The sun was hot. The roads were dry. Nothing looked out of place. They passed a few old signs. Faded wood, rusted metal. Santa Roja, 14 miles. Maria looked out the window and said, "Weird how a whole town can just disappear." Lauren didn't answer. She kept her eyes on the dirt road. The further they drove, the more quiet it became. No birds. No cars. No sounds at all. Just the desert. At 3:09 p.m., the radio room received a quick call. It was Maria. "Halfway there," she said. "Nothing unusual. Road's a little rough. Still on track." The call was short, clear. No panic, no sign of trouble. The operator asked if they had eyes on the target, yet Maria answered, "Not yet." We'll call again once we arrive. Then, the line went dead. Not with a scream. Not with a loud sound. Just silence. After that, the set phone never connected again. Repeated calls went unanswered. At first, they thought it was just bad signal. But the minutes passed. Then hours. And no one ever heard from Lauren or Maria again. By 7:45 p.m. Concern turned into worry. The agents had missed their check-in. Special Agent Klein tried to reach them. No response. He tried again. Still nothing. The satellite phone never rang. It just dropped to voicemail. By 9 p.m., a decision was made. This was no longer a normal delay. An emergency call went out to the nearest field team. By midnight, 2 search trucks were moving fast toward the route Lauren and Maria had taken. Agents scanned the roads, used thermal gear, shined spotlights into ravines and hillsides. By 2 a.m., they reached the halfway point, the last known area where Maria made contact. There was nothing. No car, no sign of a crash, no blood, no tire damage. The air was dry. The road was quiet. Klein stood on a ridge, looking down into the black desert. Something felt wrong, but no one could say why. It was like the desert had swallowed them whole. By sunrise, a full search team was on the ground. Agents spread out in every direction. Helicopters circled overhead. Dogs sniffed tire marks, gear, even pieces of clothing left in the SUV days before. They found a trail, faint tire tracks going west. Near an old canyon wall close to Santa Roja, the tracks ended near a rocky slope. Just stopped. No skid marks. No broken branches. No sign of a turn. The SUV was gone. The GPS tracker? Dead. The satellite phone? Never used again. One agent hiked down into a dry riverbed. He found a strange patch of ground, smooth, as if brushed clean. No prints. No tracks. Another agent found a torn page from a field notebook. The corner was burnt, but it wasn't enough. They searched for days, used drones, checked caves, even called in tribal police for help. Still nothing. No footprints. No sound. No signs of life. Lauren and Maria had simply vanished. At the search meeting that evening, one younger officer said something that made the group go quiet. "This doesn't make sense," he said. "Even ghosts leave behind shadows." Helicopters circled high above the Arizona desert. Below, teams walked in straight lines, scanning every inch of land. Search dogs were lowered into steep ravines by rope. The mission was clear. Find agents Lauren Vega and Maria Torres. For 2 days, the search moved fast. Heat was brutal, but no one gave up. They followed the last GPS path, the one that ended near Santa Roja. Then, something strange happened. The tire tracks from the agent's SUV led down a dirt trail. They curved slightly. Then they stopped. No crash. No turn. No signs of a struggle. The SUV was just gone. No footprints. No broken brush. No blood. No signs of digging or dragging. Just dry rock and silent wind. One agent stood at the canyon's edge, staring down at the sharp drop. He shook his head. "This isn't right," he said. "It's like they drove off the map." The search kept going. They checked caves, climbed rocks, used heat sensors, metal detectors, even night vision. Nothing. Just more heat, more dust, and more silence. The D set up a small base near Santa Roja. It was a mobile command post, folding tables, radio towers, and printed maps everywhere. Each day brought new frustration. The teams were tired. Supplies ran low. Radios kept cutting out without warning. No clues. No contact. No progress. Tension rose. Agents started arguing. Some believed Lauren and Maria had been taken. Others weren't so sure. What if it was? "A setup?" one said. "A trap?" A veteran snapped back. No way. They weren't rookies. But one young rookie, sitting off to the side, said something that made the room quiet. You don't just disappear like that. Unless someone wanted it. No one answered. Because deep down, they all knew something felt wrong. The kind of wrong. No one could explain. After a week, the DEA reached out to the local tribal police. They asked if anyone knew the land better. The caves, the mines, the hidden spots. An elder named Thomas arrived. He was quiet, maybe in his 70s, but sharp. He walked the area, slowly, looking at the canyon and the rocks. This land remembers things, he said. The agents didn't know what he meant. Thomas pointed to a ridge. That place? Bad things happened there. People used to go missing. Miners. Families. They say the caves swallow people. The DEA agents looked at each other. Some smirked. One laughed, but Thomas didn't laugh. You search all you want, he said. But if they went where I think they went, you won't find them. That night, the DEA pulled back operations for rest. But no team returned to the ridge the next day. Later, someone asked why. No one had a clear answer. Back in Tucson, Lon's husband, David, couldn't sit still. He packed a cooler, a flashlight, and a gas can. Then he drove out to Santa Rosa alone. Every day, for weeks, he'd take the same road Lauren took. He'd stop where the tracks ended. He'd walk along the ridges and look for anything, a shoe, a trail, even a scrap of clothing. He never found anything. At home, his kitchen became a war room. Maps were pinned to the walls. Notes, photos, times, weather reports. He kept a notebook with every search detail. Even if nothing happened, neighbors noticed the lights in his house never went off. One friend said, I think he stopped sleeping. He was scared that if he rested, he'd miss something. When asked if he thought Lauren ran off, David said, she didn't run. Someone took her, and I'll find out who. His eyes didn't blink when he said it. Maria's younger sister, Sophia, didn't wait. The moment she heard Maria was missing, she posted her photo online, the one where Maria was laughing in a red hoodie, holding her graduation cap. The caption read, My sister is not a ghost. Bring her home. It spread fast. Thousands shared it. People started using the hashtag #FindMaria and Lauren. News stations picked it up within 2 days. Sophia wasn't just angry. She was organized. She emailed politicians, called every reporter. She printed flyers and handed them out on sidewalks. At one point, she stood outside a DEA office holding a sign that said, Do your job. She gave interviews on morning news shows. Her voice shook, but she kept talking. They wouldn't just leave, she said. If they're missing, someone did it. Someone is hiding something. At first, the DEA ignored her. Then they tried to calm her. Then they stopped responding at all. But it was too late. The country had seen her face, and they were watching. Sophia didn't stop, because she knew her sister wouldn't have either. 3 months after the search began, everything just stopped. The teams were pulled out. The base camp near Santa Rosa was packed up. No more helicopters. No more scent dogs. The agents were marked as missing, presumed dead. Lauren's name was moved from the active roster. Maria's badge was added to a wall of fallen agents. The DEA made one final statement. All reasonable efforts have been made. But to the families, it wasn't enough. David sat in his house with all the maps still pinned to the walls. Every day, he checked for news. Every night, he walked the same trail outside their home. He didn't speak to reporters anymore. He just stared past them. Sophia kept posting, but interest online faded. News stories took over. The hashtag went quiet. People moved on, but the families never did, because deep down, they believed something else had happened, something darker, and they were right. They just didn't know it yet. 8 years after the agents vanished, A small copper mining company got permission to explore old tunnels near Santa Roja. These tunnels had been sealed off since the 1990s. No one had touched them in years. Locals called the land cursed. They said the ground made people sick. One even claimed the caves hummed at night. But the company didn't care. Copper was money. They got the paperwork signed and brought in a small crew. Before work began, an old rancher came by. He warned them, "That area's wrong. You dig there, you'll regret it." The miners just laughed. One of them, a guy named Rick, even joked, "What's the worst that could happen? A ghost hits me with a shovel?" They didn't take it seriously, but they should have thought by the third day of digging. The crew hit something strange. They were deep underground when their drill suddenly punched through. Not solid rock, but a hollow space. It made a strange echo, not like normal caves. It sounded off. They widened the hole carefully and crawled through with flashlights. Inside was a tunnel, but it didn't look natural. The walls were black and burned, like there had been a fire. The floor was smooth, almost melted in some places. There were no signs of pickaxes or machines. Just silence. One of the miners, Carlos, said the air felt heavy, hard to breathe. Another guy, Josh, started sweating and said his stomach hurt. He backed out and refused to go back in. Rick, the jokester, tried to laugh it off, but even he was nervous. "This doesn't look like a mining tunnel," he said. "This looks like someone tried to hide it." The rest of the crew stayed quiet. Something about that space felt wrong. Not dangerous like a cave-in, but wrong, like they weren't supposed to be there. Deeper into the tunnel, they found something no one expected. Against the far wall was an old metal cot, rusted and bent. Nearby were a few plastic water jugs, mostly empty, and a tattered blue blanket. There were no fresh footprints, no signs anyone had been here recently. But this wasn't debris from an old mine. It looked like someone had lived here, or been kept here. Rick stepped closer and spotted something wedged between two rocks. He reached down and pulled it out. It was a cracked leather badge, covered in dust. The letters were faded, but still visible. D. The room went silent. No one spoke. Carlos finally whispered, "That's federal." Rick nodded slowly. "This shouldn't be here." Someone snapped a photo. Then they backed out the way they came, careful not to touch anything else. Whatever this place was, it wasn't just a tunnel. Just as they were leaving, Carlos spotted something strange in the wall. There was a narrow crack in the rock, and something metal was stuck inside. He reached in carefully and pulled out a dented green box, the kind soldiers used for ammo. It was heavy, sealed tight with rust. They opened it on dash side. Inside, they found a corroded flashlight, its batteries long dead. Next to it was a rolled-up paper map, water damaged but still readable. It showed the tunnel system, but parts were blacked out in thick marker. And under that, a small handheld video camera. It was dusty, old, and dead. No battery, no charger. Rick held it up and said, "We need to take this to the sheriff." "Now," Carlos agreed. "Whatever happened here, this might explain it." They sealed the box, packed up the map and badge, and climbed out of the tunnel. They didn't speak much on the way back, but one thing was clear. They hadn't found copper. They'd found something buried on purpose, something the desert was never supposed to give back. The miners handed the sealed ammo box to the local sheriff's office the next morning. Sheriff Dalton took it seriously. He'd been on the force for over 20 years and remembered the Vega Torres case well. He ordered everyone out of the evidence room except 2 deputies he trusted. Then he powered up the old video camera using a universal charger. The screen flickered. Static buzzed. Then it began to play. The room fell silent. For 5 straight minutes, no one spoke. Just the sounds of breathing and the hum of the ceiling light. When it ended, Sheriff Dalton didn't say a word. He stood, walked to the door, and told both deputies to step outside. Then he locked it from the inside. 10 minutes later, he came out. His face was pale. His hands trembled. One deputy asked what he saw. Sheriff Dalton didn't answer. He walked straight to his office and picked up the phone. The only thing he said was, "Get me the feds." By the next morning, something leaked out the miner's discovery. The camera. The D-badge. A small-town reporter ran a quiet headline. Possible break-in cold case. No details. No video. Just a hint. Sofia Torres saw it online. She called the sheriff's office the same hour. Her voice was calm but shaking. Was it her? She asked. There was a long pause. The sheriff finally replied, "I can't say." But the silence told her everything she needed to know. In the dark evidence room. It was quiet. Sheriff Dalton sat at the table with two of his deputies. The old video camera from the cave was hooked up to a monitor. A technician inserted the memory card. The screen flickered. Static. Then a frame appeared. Blurry at first. Then sharp. It was a woman's face. She looked pale, bruised. Her hair was pulled back. Her lips were cracked. She stared into the camera like she was afraid to blink. One deputy leaned in. "Is that?" The sheriff nodded. "That's Maria Torres." The room fell silent. They hit play. The video jumped for a second, then started. The lighting was bad, maybe a flashlight. The audio cracked. But the voices were clear. Maria wasn't alone. Lauren Vega sat beside her, breathing fast. The women looked scared, dirty, exhausted. The deputies exchanged glances. One whispered, "It's really them." Sheriff Dalton stared at the screen. His hand slowly curled into a fist. He'd seen a lot of things in his career. But this was different. What they were about to hear would change everything. Lauren looked into the camera. Her voice shook, but she spoke fast, like time was running out. "My name is Agent Lauren Vega," she said. "D. Badge number 64,791. She looked down for a second, then back up. "We were sent here to meet an informant. He said he had intel on a new tunnel route. Said it was urgent. Said it was tied to the Estrella cartel." She paused, her eyes flicking toward Maria. It was a trap. She took a deep breath. When we arrived near the canyon, 2 vehicles boxed us in. No plates. Men with masks got out. No one spoke. They dragged us out of the car. Took our weapons, our phones. Her voice cracked now. They blindfolded us, moved us on foot. We were underground within minutes. Dirt walls. No light. Just voices. She glanced around the room she was in. "This isn't the cartel," she said. "These people, they're organized. They have gear, radios, schedules." She shook her head. This wasn't random. Then, just as she was about to say more, the camera glitched again. The screen froze, then cut to black. The deputies leaned forward, hoping for more, but the next clip was even worse. The screen lit up again. This time, Maria was talking. Her voice was quieter, almost like she didn't want to be heard. "They moved us at night," she said. "Always at night. No clocks. No windows. Just tunnels." She blinked slowly, eyes heavy. "They didn't speak Spanish. That's how we knew. This wasn't the cartel." She shook her head. "They wore uniforms. Not like soldiers. More like black gear. Clean. No markings." She looked down. "They kept asking questions. About what we saw. About who knew where we were." Then Lauren appeared again, just beside her. "They made us record things," she said. "Scripts. They gave us lines. Said to say we were captured by the cartel. That we were forced to help them." Maria added, "But it was a lie. We refused. That's when things got worse." She didn't explain what worse meant the camera angle shifted slightly. You could hear someone walking nearby, a soft metal clang. Then silence again. Maria's hands gripped her knees tightly. Her lips moved, but no words came out. Lauren leaned in one last time. "If anyone finds this," she whispered, "please tell them. We didn't just disappear." The screen cut to another video. This one looked newer. The lighting was brighter. Lauren sat alone, facing the camera. Her voice was calm, too calm. "If you're watching this, it means someone found the camera," she said. She looked tired. Her eyes were red. "They think we saw something we weren't supposed to see." She leaned forward. "This isn't about drugs. Not really." She paused. "We think it's something called Vault Echo. We don't know exactly what it is, but they mentioned it a lot." She looked down, thinking. They had maps. Big maps, with tunnels and numbers. One man said, "That route can't be touched." Another said, "Keep the names off the list." Lauren shook her head. "I think we stumbled onto a route used for something else. Not drugs. Not weapons. Something worse." She looked around, as if someone might be listening. "They said we were liabilities, that we broke the chain." Then she looked straight into the lens. "They're coming. I can hear them. I don't know if I'll get another chance to talk." She reached forward toward the camera. Then the screen went black. The final video began without warning. No timestamp. No sound at first. Just a shaky frame showing Maria Torres alone in the corner of the same dark room. Her back was hunched. Her hair looked soaked with sweat. Her face was bruised, her lips cracked. She leaned close to the lens and whispered. "They took Lauren." Her voice broke. She tried to breathe, but it came out in gasps. "They came last night. No warning." She didn't fight them. She just looked at me and said, "Don't cry." Maria wiped her eyes. "They said I'm next." She swallowed hard. "I don't know if this will ever be found. I don't even know what day it is anymore." She stared straight into the lens. Now, her eyes were wet and shaking. "But if anyone sees this, tell our families we didn't run. We didn't break. We didn't give up." Her voice dropped to almost nothing. "We fought." She looked over her shoulder, like she'd heard something, then leaned in close one last time. "Please, please tell them we tried." And just like that, the video ended. A click. A whine of static. Then black. It was the last known footage of Maria Torres. Sheriff Dalton sat alone for hours after watching that last clip. He didn't call the DEA. He didn't tell his deputies. He simply copied the videos to a flash drive, sealed it in an envelope, and mailed it without a return address. To a woman whose name he didn't need to look up. Sofia Torres. Later that night, something else happened. Sometime after midnight, a silent break-in occurred at the sheriff's office. No alarms, no camera footage, no broken locks. Just one item missing. The original video camera recovered from the cave. Nothing else was touched. Not the badge. Not the ammo box. Just the camera. Gone. Dalton didn't tell the public right away. But a week later, a local reporter asked about the miner's discovery. The sheriff looked tired, pale, like he hadn't slept in days. "They don't want the truth out," he finally said. "Who?" the reporter asked. The sheriff didn't answer. He just turned and walked away. But it was too late. Because the videos were already out there now, and Sofia had just hit play. Less than 6 hours after the sheriff mailed the flash drive, 3 black SUVs pulled into the parking lot of the station. They didn't have sirens. No lights, just tinted windows and quiet engines. 4 men stepped out. Black suits. No names on their jackets. One flashed a badge that said, "Federal." No agency name. Just Federal. They didn't ask questions. They gave orders. "We're here for the evidence tied to Santa Roja," one of them said. "Hand it over." Sheriff Dalton tried to ask for paperwork, a receipt, a chain of custody form. One of the agents replied, "This never existed." They took everything. The flash drive copy, the original ammo box, the water jugs, even the dirt-covered badge the miners found. They bagged up the camera box, even though it was empty. One agent grabbed the original search map off the wall without asking. Dalton's deputies stood frozen. "They treated us like suspects," one said later. "Didn't explain anything. Didn't say thank you. Just took it all like we were hiding something." The agents left as fast as they arrived. And just like that, it was gone. Everything. As if it never happened. But someone had already sent copy elsewhere. Sheriff Dalton wasn't stupid. He knew something was wrong the moment those black SUVs showed up. So before they arrived, he had already forwarded screenshots from the footage to a friend, a local journalist named Gina Voss. She'd covered the D for years and didn't scare easily. He emailed her 6 images. One showed Lauren with a bruised face, sitting in the dark. Another showed Maria clutching her knees, her mouth half open like she was about to speak. The subject line read, "If anything happens to me, post these." Gina didn't wait. Within 24 hours, a small online news outlet posted the story. The headline read, "Missing agents may have been held alive." The article didn't say much. No location, no names, just the screenshots and a brief timeline. But it was enough. People clicked. People shared. People asked questions. The D issued a one-line statement. "We cannot confirm the authenticity of the images." But that didn't stop the story. The screenshots were real. And now the whole world had seen them. 3 days later, it got worse. A podcast called Federal Shadows released a surprise episode. Its title? The Vault Echo Conspiracy. The host claimed to have interviewed 3 retired D employees. All 3 wanted to stay anonymous, but their voices were clear. Their stories lined up. The first one said, "In 2017, there was a unit no one talked about, a black team. They weren't chasing cartels. They were watching other agencies." The second said, "Santa Roja wasn't just a ghost town. It was sitting on top of something. A route, a sealed smuggling tunnel, but not just for drugs, something bigger." The third one said something that made headlines. "I saw one report where U.S. personnel were listed as using the tunnel. Not Mexican, not cartel, American." The podcast went viral in under 6 hours. Clips were posted on TikTok, Instagram, Reddit. People started asking questions no one wanted to answer. Why was the tunnel sealed in 1994? Who was using it? And what had Lauren and Maria really found down there? One retired agent ended the episode with a warning. If those women died down there, it wasn't just because of the cartel. Within days, the internet exploded. Reddit. Threads with titles like "Santa Roja was a cover" and "The Vault Echo Blacklist" climbed to the front page. One post compared aerial photos of the area from 1992 to 2017. The newer photo showed fresh tire tracks leading straight toward the blocked cave. It had over 3 million views overnight. YouTubers released video breakdowns of the leaked screenshots. True crime channels called it the Desert Disappearance Scandal. Podcasts, forums, TikTok creators, everyone had a theory. Some said the tunnel was a secret CIA route. Others believed it was tied to human trafficking. A few even said Maria and Lauren might still be alive. The D went silent. No more press releases. No comments. But one thing became clear to the public. If this really was just a case of 2 missing agents, why did it feel like the government was trying so hard to make everyone forget? And why did they fail? Because now, the whole country was watching. After weeks of silence from the government, Sofia Torres and David Vega took matters into their own hands. They stood side by side on the steps of the Arizona State Capitol. Reporters, cameras, and microphones surrounded them. Sophia spoke first. "We're not here to accuse. We're here to ask for the truth," she said. "We don't want revenge. We want answers. We want to know what really happened to Lauren and Maria, and why no one told us the full story." Behind her, David stood still, holding a worn photo of Lauren in her DEA uniform. A reporter shouted, "Do you believe the government is hiding something?" Sophia looked at David. David didn't speak for a full 10 seconds. Then he simply said, "Yes." The crowd reacted instantly. Flashbulbs went off. Hands shot up. More questions followed. But Sophia ended the press conference with one sentence. "If you don't want the truth out," she said, "you should have buried it deeper." The clip aired on every major news station by nightfall. Within 48 hours, members of Congress called for a formal inquiry. One senator held up a photo of the tunnel map on live TV and demanded answers. The DEA issued a one-line statement. "No comment at this time." But behind closed doors, panic was spreading. An internal memo leaked. The subject line read, "Vault Echo do not release. National security risk." The leak confirmed one thing. The name Vault Echo was real. And now, the entire world knew it. Public pressure exploded. The leaked videos, the podcast, the screenshots, the name Vault Echo. Everyone wanted answers. So, under heavy media fire, the government made a quiet move. They sent a new federal team into the Santa Roja caves. No press, no witnesses, just orders. This time, they didn't come with flashlights and a map. They brought ground scanners, oxygen sensors, forensic experts, and full-body recovery crews. Some wore radiation suits. Others carried sealed metal containers. They sealed off the site, blocked roads. Military-style tents went up overnight. Locals were told to stay away for safety reasons. The caves were deeper than anyone expected. Old shafts connected to newer ones, some sealed, some hidden. The teams worked in total silence. Every move was documented. No one knew exactly what they were looking for. But on day 3, just past a collapsed tunnel, they found something. The digging stopped. A red flag was raised outside the cave. And for a full hour, no one said a word. Not even to each other. The discovery wasn't marked with headstones. It was just dirt. Dry, packed, and shallow. They brushed it away gently. What came out of the ground was human bone, arms crossed over a broken ribcage. Next to it, more bones curled tightly. 2 bodies, side by side. Long buried, but not forgotten. Torn shreds of dark clothing still clung to the remains. 1 boot, 1 belt, 1 long braid of dark hair still twisted through a cracked collar. Then the small items appeared. A wedding ring, thin, gold, dented. A rusted wristwatch stopped at 317, and 1 9mm bullet casing pressed halfway into the soil. They collected everything, tag by tag, piece by piece. Then they ran rapid DNA. Results came back within hours. The bones were a match. Lauren Vega, Maria Torres. They had been buried in the dark, just yards away from the tunnel that first brought them there. One federal agent reportedly dropped to his knees when he saw the results. Another simply whispered, 8 years. And this is how they come home. The remains were sealed in body bags. 2 stretchers were carried out at sunset. No press was allowed inside, but someone snapped a photo anyway, and that photo told the whole story. The bodies weren't the only thing found. Beside the shallow graves was a black zippered pouch, government issued, marked with a faded federal seal. It was scorched along one edge, but still intact. Inside, a cracked ID card and a scuffed white keycard. The label said only a CCESS Echo. No one explained what had opened. Not officially. Reporters asked the FBI for comment. The reply was short. No further details available. But a week later, an unnamed agent spoke to a podcast host. His words were quiet, almost like a warning. That key card? He said. It wasn't supposed to exist. Not outside the base. Not in the wild. If they had that, they knew too much. He didn't say what the base was. He didn't say what ECHO meant, but he ended with this. They weren't just buried. They were erased. And just like that, the interview cut off. That clip was reposted over 3 million times in 2 days. They held the press conference 2 days after the discovery. 2 coffins sat behind the podium, both covered in American flags. Family members in the front row. Reporters packed wall to wall. David Vega stepped up to the microphone. He was holding Lauren's badge in one hand, the same badge they'd pulled from the cave 8 years after. She vanished. He looked down at it for a long time. Then he tried to speak. Nothing came out. He cleared his throat. Tried again. Still nothing. Then his shoulders dropped. His hand shook. The badge slipped from his fingers and hit the ground. He bent down to pick it up, but didn't stand back up. Instead, he crouched there, holding it in both hands, and started sobbing. His chest heaved. His head dropped. He didn't try to talk anymore. The room stayed silent. A single camera zoomed in. No cuts. No edits. And that's the moment that went viral. He finally got her back. In pieces. That's what the headline said the next morning. David never gave another interview, because everything he needed to say was already said, without a single word. As David stepped away from the podium, Sofia Torres walked up behind him. She didn't carry a paper. No speech. Just a single photo. The one of Maria in uniform, smiling on graduation day. She held it up for the cameras. Then she spoke. My sister didn't die serving this country, she said. Her voice didn't shake. It cut. She died because this country abandoned her. The silence in the room cracked. 8 years ago, they vanished. And for 8 years, we were told nothing, lied to, shut out, left in the dark. Sofia turned toward the row of DEA officers standing along the wall. You sent them out there. You knew the risk. And when they disappeared, you stopped looking. Someone in the back tried to interrupt. She kept going. Don't say they died heroes, she said. Heroes come home. My sister died trapped, terrified, begging for someone to find her. Then she stepped back, holding the photo tight to her chest. The clip aired that night on every major news network across the country. People cried, and then they got angry. Maria and Lauren were buried side by side, with full honors. Their caskets were draped in flags. Bugles played. Medals were placed beside the grave. But no arrests were made. No names released. No mention of the black key card, the hidden tunnel, or vault echo. The pouch that held the card? Never logged in evidence. Gone. David Vega left town 2 days later. No goodbye. No press. Just vanished. Same way Lauren once had. But Sofia stayed. She didn't give interviews. Didn't talk to reporters. She just posted one photo. It showed the mouth of the Santa Roja cave. Caution tape still fluttering in the wind. Her caption was simple. We're not done yet. People shared it by the thousands. Because even though the case was closed, everyone knew it wasn't over. Not really. Not until the truth, the whole truth, came out. 3 months after Lauren and Maria's bodies were found, the DEA quietly closed the case. No press conference. No investigation. Just a one-page document uploaded to their website on a Friday night. The statement read, after full review, the incident was caused by unauthorized field activity outside mission guidelines. Internal failure led to the loss of 2 agents. They called it a mistake. said Lauren and Maria had acted alone, that they were not cleared for the operation, that they took unnecessary risks. There were no names listed, no one fired, no one charged. The government blamed the dead. David Vega read the report 3 times in one night. Each time, his hands shook harder. Sofia Torres didn't even finish reading it. She ripped it in half and threw it into the fire pit in her backyard. The public was stunned. This wasn't closure. This was a cover up. News stations reported it for one night. Then the headlines faded, but the families didn't forget, and neither did the internet, because just when it felt like everything was being buried again, something surfaced that changed everything. 2 weeks later, a user on a private military forum posted a strange file. It was a scanned image, a government map, marked classified, eyes only at the top. The title? Southwest Access Grid. Region 3, Vault Echo. The map showed a massive underground layout beneath the Santa Roja Canyon. Long tunnels, chambers labeled Intel Hold, Storage Z, and Hall 7. At the bottom, it listed 6 access points, all sealed. All shut since 2015. The internet exploded. Redditors cross-checked the layout with satellite images. Some sections matched the terrain around the ghost town. The file was traced to a breached contractor server. Cybersecurity analysts confirmed it was real. The Vault Echo name was no longer a theory. It was now a proven location. News anchors scrambled to explain it. Government spokespeople refused to comment. The people weren't asking if Vault Echo existed anymore. They were asking what it was for, and why it was never found during the original search. One ex-agent went on a podcast and said, if Vault Echo was buried that deep, it wasn't for drugs. It was for secrets. With the map now public, people started searching. Independent journalists flew drones over the area. YouTubers hiked into the canyon with night vision cameras, motion detectors, and ground sonar. Former military contractors posted videos titled, Breaking into Vault Echo. None of them found anything. The GPS would stop working as soon as they got close to Santa Roja. Devices froze. Batteries drained faster than normal. And the locals? They wouldn't talk. One explorer knocked on a nearby ranch house for directions. The man who answered said, go back. Don't come looking again. Some hikers reported strange noises at night. One claimed he saw tire tracks that weren't there the day before. No official agency launched a second search. No team was sent back in. It was like someone didn't want that tunnel found. Or worse, someone was already using it. People online started calling it the Vanishing Trail, because everyone who tried to find it. Eventually, I gave up. After the leaked Vault Echo map went public. The desert near Santa Roja didn't go quiet. It got busy. Locals started reporting strange activity, always after midnight. Always the same pattern. Unmarked black trucks, big ones, no plates, moving slowly through the brushy roads near the canyon. No headlights, no sound, but tires rolling over gravel. Some circled the area and vanished. Others parked for hours, engines idling in total darkness. One rancher said he saw a group of men step out of the trucks. They were dressed in black gear, moving fast. Each one carried a long flat case, maybe 4 feet in length. Too long for tools, too short for rifles. They moved like they'd done it before, he said. In and out. No talking. Then, gone. Another hiker claimed he saw flickers of light deep in the canyon, like flashlights bouncing off rock walls, followed by silence. No trucks ever passed through town. No one ever stopped for gas. No one used the main roads. It was always back roads. Always midnight. Locals stopped talking. Some even put up new no trespassing signs, because whatever those trucks were doing, no one wanted to know. A few weeks later, a new voice came forward Not on TV, not in the news. Just a single, anonymous audio clip posted online. The speaker claimed to be a former intelligence analyst, someone who worked on satellite surveillance. Linked to Vault Echo between 2015 and 2018. His voice was calm, measured, no music, no intro. Vault Echo, he said, was never about drugs. That was the story on paper. He paused. It was about movement. Controlled movement. Cargo in, cargo out. Maybe weapons, maybe people, maybe both. Then came the most chilling part. If those two DEA agents got close, they didn't just find something. They became part of it. The host asked, why wouldn't they just be rescued? The analyst didn't hesitate, because witnesses don't just vanish unless someone wants them gone. The recording ended there. No follow-up, no name, no trace of who posted it, but the internet took it seriously. Because if what he said was true, Lauren and Maria didn't just stumble into a cartel route. They walked into something built to stay hidden. And for 8 years. It did. Until now. The anonymous voice from the leaked audio clip faded, but the words stayed with Sophia. She played the recording 3 times that night. Each time, the same phrase echoed louder in her mind. Witnesses don't just vanish unless someone wants them gone. She didn't sleep. At sunrise, she packed a bag and drove south. No press, no escort, no warning. Just her and a printed copy of the Vault Echo map, the one they tried to scrub from the internet. By noon, she stood at the edge of the Santa Roja Canyon. The wind howled through the rocks, dry and sharp, like the land itself was trying to speak. Her phone buzzed. A message from David. They knew. We know. One day, someone will talk. She stared at the message for a long moment, then turned her eyes toward the mouth of the cave. It looked like any other hole in the earth. Quiet, still ordinary, but she knew better now. This wasn't just where Lauren and Maria disappeared. It was where the truth was. Buried. She folded the map once, placed it inside her jacket, and started walking forward. Step by step. Toward the dark. No fear in her face. No tears this time. Just purpose. And then, fade to black.